Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. Yetta, how many shows have we done?
Well, 276.
276! And we were just talking with Dan, and Dan, when our first ones, they were bad.
Well, there was some okay content. We didn't, the crazy part is we didn't actually know they were bad until Dan, we asked him the question today, what do you think? Like, how many did you think we would do? Did you think we'd be here over 5 years later, 276 shows in? And he said, I didn't think you'd make it a year. And we actually laughed because today's show is about shaking it up. And so we started shaking things up when we started recording because we felt we needed to add value to your life. We needed to give you access to the expertise and the knowledge that we had gleaned over 2 or 3 decades, depending on which of us you're talking to. And
that's why we called it the Inside Track.
Right, because it really was the Inside Track. So today's show is Your House Shaking It Up. So we're shaking it up. And when we started these shows, it was all about shaking it up. How do we provide you access to information, to knowledge, to wisdom, without us sitting in your living room with you or without you sitting in the office with us? And so that's how they got started. And even Dan, who is the cameraman, and I know, aren't I great at puns? He was shocked because the first show, which was a 30-minute show, took us 5 hours, no less than 5 hours. And now a little more efficient than that.
Yeah. A 30-minute show takes us 28 minutes.
Which is really efficient. That's come a long way. And that's actually a little exaggeration because we do put mics on and we do get ready and we do coach our guests a little bit. And we do the, what do you call that thing?
The take one.
The take one thing because we really, So anyway, they are what we would call live recordings, which means usually one run through, and yet it's not necessarily recorded the moment that you're hearing us or watching us.
Yeah.
So, shaking it up your house. What is that all about?
I don't know. I got a little shook up this morning because I was on the ice and I was a stand-up defenseman, and the guy ran right into me and knocked me on my keister.
Okay, so sometimes in real estate, and I have no idea why he decided to go with hockey.
Because it shook me up.
It shook him up.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what happens in real estate, because if you own a home, you may be a little shook up. You may be somebody that's living in Toronto right now. One of my clients who I adore and think is amazing is a little shook up because the market has taken a significant shift just outside Toronto. And
up or down?
Down.
What?
It's gotten very flat in the last few days, last few weeks, whereas it was really escalating at a rate that was
unsustainable.
Oh, right.
Imagine that.
So it wasn't sustained.
So it's stalled.
So it's stalled.
But it hasn't gone down in value. Or
we don't know. It'll be shook out as we see what's happening. And so shaking it out is really about failing forward a little bit sometimes, because for us in our career, we've certainly failed forward. And what that really means is when we talk about that show that we did 5 years ago, and it took us 5 hours to record 28 minutes, and now it takes, 30 minutes, and now it takes us 28 minutes to do 30 minutes. That's just getting better as you practice the same thing.
Yes.
Right?
That was a little bit of a joke because you can't record in 28 minutes.
I know it was a bit of a joke, except
unless Dan's slowing us down.
He slows us down sometimes. That's the trick. And so in real estate, where does it show up? Yeah,
well, sometimes you've been in your home. Maybe you've been in your home for quite a long time. And maybe it just doesn't quite suit anymore. Maybe it's just too small, too big, too ugly, too busy a street. Yeah, houses get ugly over time. It's okay. I'm shaking it up, So maybe it's just too dated, and you're really not into a big reno, or you don't know what to pick. You're just overwhelmed with it, and so you want to shake it up. Maybe you want to buy a new house. Maybe you want to buy a newer house. Maybe you want to get off a busy street and get onto a quiet street.
Maybe you want to get closer to work.
Yeah, maybe.
Because shaking it up could be a location conversation. It could be a size conversation, an aesthetic conversation. It could be one of just about
Maybe you just want to do a
reasons.
major renovation, and you want to open concept your 30, 40-year-old home,
Right.
and do a major renovation. That's
That would
shaking
be
it up.
that would be shaking it up.
Yeah. And we've got some, contacts for that if that's something that you have in mind. The other thing we want to talk about as far as shaking it up, because many times realtors just go to the de facto of, okay, if you're going to move, you got to sell the one you're in, buy the next one. That's not necessarily the most financially viable thing to do.
No, and we have a story we'll tell on ourselves. So even as realtors, we have sometimes made decisions that maybe in hindsight were not the best decisions. So back, I guess it would be about 25 years ago, we had an opportunity to start building new homes. And
20 years.
Okay, 20 years ago. Feels like 25. Okay, 20 years ago, started building homes. And the first few we built wasn't when Ken was a new home warranty builder. It was even before that.
Yeah, we had a
Right?
builder. We found lots that were not selling because they were pie-shaped. The road didn't expand out far enough, so it looked like they had virtually no frontage, and no one was buying them. So we bought those lots at a deep discount, had a builder build.
We shook it up.
We shook it up, yeah, because they were basically the last two lots the developer had, and he wanted to get rid of them because all his profits in the last two lots, or last lots. And so we bought these lots. We designed two houses. One was a two-story, one was a bungalow. And we had them built, and they were sold even before they were finished being constructed. Now, we thought we were geniuses at the time because we made about $45,000.
Yeah, we felt like absolute geniuses. Right? Brilliant, right? Like, what a great way to help the new homeowner, help the developer, help the builder, help ourselves. 4 people won, well, including the lawyers, because they got fees
They
too.
won too, yeah.
So they
and the
won
mortgage
too.
brokers.
So-
We were helping the economy all by ourselves.
right, and we made 45,000.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? So we really thought brilliance here, and so it's a good strategy, and we had use for the money shortly thereafter, so it was a good thing to get the money out. And yet, in hindsight,
Yeah, because if we kept them, I just did a little bit of math on the mortgage pay down over the 20 years that the tenant would have paid down, and the values that those properties have gone up since. And we'd be over $500,000
right?
in net worth on those two properties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of 45.
So I don't know about you, but that shakes me up a
It
bit, baby.
shakes me up a bit too. And so sometimes keeping the house you have, even if it's not something that is a brand new build, maybe you're living in a townhome now and you're thinking, I'm ready for something in the country, or I'm ready for something a little bit larger, even down the street from where I currently live, because it may not be location you want to shift, it just may be style of house, or maybe you want some more elbow room.
Yeah, and here's the issue. Most people think, okay, I've got to take my equity out of my house, and I'm going to move it to the next one, and then I'm going to buy that one. And that may not be the most financially viable thing, even though you may have to pay CMHC insurance by buying the next one with, say, 5% down, and keeping your other one. Depends on how much equity's in it. We really do a consultation with you to find out what's the best for you. But many times, if you say only have like 20% into the townhouse, you can leave that there, buy your next house at 5%, and then rent that townhouse. Now, here's another example. We helped many clients actually in the last year of 2016 buy townhomes between 280 and 305 was kind of the range that we sold investment townhomes for. They were relatively new, 5 years old or so, hardwood floors, nice properties, cash flowed positive, and we could find as many as people wanted. Really, there was no shortage of inventory. So it's just a matter of people coming up with the 20% down. So let's use $300,000 for an example. If you had bought a $300,000 townhome last year with us with $60,000
Which
down.
some of you did, and thank you that you did, because it served you, and you're now in a great position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that investment of $300,000, those townhomes have gone up about 7%.
Right.
So 7% on $300,000 is
$21,000.
Thank you. Mathematician over here. She's smart. And then how much would the mortgage be paid down by the tenant over that year's time?
Well, it depends on how much they were paying. So the mortgage pay down is probably about $7,000.
Yeah, about $600 a month, which is pretty close to $7,000. The mortgage has gone down. So mortgage has gone down. Price of the property's gone up 21. So that's $28,000 difference in value.
Right.
Now, most people would say, okay, well, that's all right. That's about, maybe 8% or something.
Right.
Now, the truth is, you put 60 in, it's gone up 28,000. That's 46% increase rate of return on your initial investment. So in 2 years, you're almost going to double your money.
Which is incredible.
If it goes up another 7% next year.
Right, which it may or may not. We've had a reasonably stable Ottawa market for quite some time. So to see 7% is not sustainable year over year, except it is sustainable for several years now that we're on a little bit of a catch-up.
Yeah, we're on a catch-up because we went for 5 years at about 1.5%, 2%, that kind of range.
Right.
So,
which is typically we're 4 to 6% in Ottawa, 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful thing to see the market coming back. And we're going to talk about the actual market a little bit later in the show and let you know what inventory is doing, what price is doing in condos and freeholds. Just a quick little snapshot. And again, that's going to be general.
Right. Yeah. So is it time for you to shake it up? Keep the house that you have and buy another one? Is it time to renovate? Because we'll give you connections for that. Is it time for you to simply sell the one you have and buy something entirely different? Because there's so many different ways of doing this.
Yep. Maybe you don't have enough storage room for your toys.
That becomes a bigger and bigger problem today, doesn't it?
That's my bigger problem right now.
Yes. That's a big problem.
If I didn't have such a great theater room, I'd consider buying something with a bigger garage.
Okay. So
the man cave. Yeah, so maybe we'll shake it up sometime soon. Uh-oh, I got the look. If you're listening on radio, you can't see the look, but I got the look. We're not shaking it up for a while, folks. But maybe it's time for you to shake it up.
Or maybe it's shaking it up with commercial property. Yeah. Maybe it's shaking, because we did just shake it up with buying our investment property. Well, not an investment property, a business.
It is an investment property.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
For the purpose of housing our Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty business, we bought the business, the building, the land, the stuff, rather than leasing it.
We didn't buy the business.
We already bought the business.
We bought the buildings and the property.
Right.
And it's a wonderful thing. And then we spent a ton of money renovating.
Right.
Yay.
So there are so many different ways of going down the road to figure out what your goals are. And really where it starts, to be able to figure out how to shake it up, and shake it up not thinking that, hey, you wish you'd shaken it up differently. Now that we have decades of experience under our belt, we're making way fewer poor judgment calls. We ought to have called in somebody like us back then to get a strategy session, to get a face-to-face meeting to look at, hey, these are my options. So our favorite thing to do today.
You mean that's available?
That's available.
By who?
You sometimes, and me sometimes, and Candace and Ryan and Linda, all of us are very equipped to sit down and have a strategy session with you, which is really just looking at what are your goals around your financial wealth? What do you want to do, and what are you comfortable with in terms of ways of doing it? The great news is with real estate, when you're utilizing that as a tool, is it's not going anywhere. It's a pretty solid product. We're going to make sure you buy one that doesn't fall over, so therefore that's a good thing. And so real estate is very sound because it's the real deal. It's the real thing. It's tangible. You can hang on to it. And the great news is there's 3 ways it increases in value when it's an investment real estate. So that's really cool. And the 3 ways, just for a quick summary, are equity increase, like the value of the property goes up. So that's two different things. But anyway, the value of the property goes up, and then equity increase when the tenant pays down your mortgage, right? Which is pretty cool. And then cash flow, because you've got more money at the end of the month than it costs you to have it.
Yeah. The other thing I'm projecting right now is rental rates are going to go up.
Yeah.
Because we're getting less real estate inventory, which means fewer people will want to rent it. And it seems like there's a higher demand for properties. So generally, as the prices increase and the demand increases, rental prices increase as well.
Which is good if you're a landlord.
Yeah, and then
not so good if you're living in a tenanted property. And so maybe the way to shake it up for you, if you're living in a tenanted property now and you're saying, but I can't afford it. Like I can qualify at the bank, the financial institutions will give me the money, and yet it's not how I want to spend my money. I don't think it's a wise use of the money I have, because it means I can't do the other things. I can't give to the charities I want to give to. It's hard to tithe. I can't, support the people I want to support. Can't do the things I want to do if I spend as much money as the bank says I can spend. Mm-hmm. The great news is you can maybe have an apartment in the lower level. Maybe there's the opportunity to rent out a room or two upstairs. A lot of our clients, especially when they're starting out, that's exactly what they do. And it helps them significantly because somebody else is helping pay their mortgage and their house is increasing meanwhile versus the person paying somebody else's.
Yeah.
It's not
you know
good.
what? Another client of ours is shaking it up. She is living in a low-cost apartment, and she's buying an investment property that she's going to rent out. Because for her to buy a house doesn't make sense because she doesn't need the house. It's too much money going out each month.
Right.
But she's been saving up and living in a like I say, a low-cost apartment, and there we go. That's another way of shaking it up. Right. Now, here's another way you might shake it up. Sometimes you have a sleepy asset, and that means you've got too much equity in your house.
Well, it's not bad to have too much equity in your house, right? Like, let's not confuse people. It's not. There's a feeling of security.
Yeah.
For having a lot of money sitting in my house.
There's a feeling of security when you're sleeping in bed with the covers pulled up to your nose too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that got to do with anything?
So that's the comfortness of having all that equity in your house.
Right.
Now, what's the difference if we play a shell game and we take that equity and we put some of it in your house still and some of it in another house? You still have your equity in real estate. Right? It's like a shell game. We just moved some of it from one house to the other. And
that sounds so simplistic.
It is simplistic when you have the Dekker Team helping you. So that's one way. Now, here's another way. Maybe you've got some RSP money sitting in your RSP that you're concerned in the market, what the markets are doing or whatever. Or maybe you got a bunch of cash in there. You can actually loan it to yourself on your property as a mortgage, and then use that money that you just borrowed off yourself to go invest in a property.
Say it again, because...
Did I lose you?
You lost me, which means
it was meant to be.
He might have lost you, and I don't think that's fair.
I'm trying to shake it up.
Right, except what I'm attempting to explain to Ken, because his mind just works with numbers and math and, the shell game, and I'm thinking shell game. What has shells got to do with anything? You're just moving equity from one house to two houses.
Shells have to do if you want to buy a second house in Florida. We can help you there, too, because there's shells in Florida.
Okay, so now if you're as confused as I am, I'm just going to get him to re-explain the whole RSP thing. And if you already understand this and you're already doing it and you've got other ideas, you know what to do. You can send us a quick email. You can call us. You can send us an email at info@dekkerteam.com or call us at 613-860-4663, because what I've learned with this whole thing about failing forward is there's always more to learn.
Yep.
Never done.
So the RSP thing, it's a non-arm's length RSP is the term for it. There's very, very few people that understand it and know how to use it. And our mortgage broker that we refer frequently totally gets it.
She does, because she does it herself. And
yes.
I think that's one of the most vital pieces of information, and maybe you've already thought about this and I don't need to share it with you. Working with somebody that's actually done what you want to do is actually really brilliant, because it's not just book learning, it's actually experience. So the reason we share some of our failures forward stories is because it means we've been down the road. It means we know what it is to actually figure out how to do it right, even if we didn't get it right the first time. And now we know enough to know what we know what we don't know, and get help.
And know who knows it.
Right. That's what I was about to say.
I
to get
know.
help from somebody that knows what we don't know, so that we actually work as a team. It's a collaborative approach. That is probably in the top 3 of things that we've learned over the last decades, is to have the team.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of shaking it up, then you want to have somebody to dance with, right? Because when you shake it up, you're dancing.
You are dancing.
Yeah.
And it's not that much fun to dance alone.
No. So give us a call and we can dance with you around the shaking up your house. Now, it's interesting. People are still asking me, how's the market?
That is the number one asked questions.
Yeah.
Right? In real estate. If you're a realtor. I mean, if you're not a realtor, I don't imagine people come up to you and say, how's the market?
You're right.
Right?
I'll give you that one.
Will you give me that one? Okay. And if you're a realtor, people are consistently saying, how's the market?
Yeah.
And my answer is fantastic. Because whether it's going down or it's going up, people are buying and people are selling. So it is always fantastic. It has not been bad one day in the better part of 30 years that I've been in the industry.
Yeah.
And yet right now, it's still a little bit of tale of two cities. There's still a little bit of difference in the different types of real estate and the different areas of real estate. And yet it is much stronger overall than it has been. So we're going to share a few numbers. So if you're not a numbers person, it's really hard to follow the numbers. All you have to do is email us. We'll send you just a sheet with showing all the numbers.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to
And I
try and write them down. Oh, he simplified it today. That meant he took off the point whatever.
Not
This
always.
is good.
Not always.
Oh.
Got to be accurate. Simple doesn't mean not accurate.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So do your best to retain the information. I'm going to do the same. And if you'd like it in hard copy or soft copy, you know what to do.
So the market's fantastic.
It is.
In the last 7 days,
Yes.
516 properties went conditionally sold. That's in 7 days.
That's good.
Over 500,
Yeah,
Jetta.
that's amazing.
And over 600 firmed up.
Which meant they were sold conditionally. And when we use the word conditional, sometimes people think, well, that means it's conditional on the sale of a home. No, we just mean typical conditions. We mean conditions like septic inspection if you're in the country. Could be electrical safety authority inspection. It could be building inspection, financing, just those typical inspections or conditions rather that are necessary.
Yeah.
Are generally necessary. Yeah. And there's even been some homes this year selling. We've sold some where there's been no conditions.
No conditions. Yeah.
So literally the second we sign the piece of paper, we can flip it to Yahoo sold or Woohoo sold, depending on what mood I'm in. And there we go.
So in the last 60 days,
Yeah.
okay, 2 months worth,
Yep.
4,400 properties have sold. Yeah.
That's great.
That's super great. And the average price, just over 400,000.
Yep. In the Ottawa market. So we're using board stats for this. It's a very general overview. So it includes freehold.
Yeah.
All freehold, not condominium. And it means all the way down to the St. Lawrence and all the way right to downtown and everything in the east and everything in the west. It's overview, recognizing that a significant amount of the sales are actually taking place in, well, not within the green belt, but certainly within suburbia.
Yeah. So it's interesting. What I did was I checked what the average realtor gets compared to their listing price.
Right.
And it was 98.4%. There's that 0.4. Okay. 67 days on the market. Then, well, I wonder what the Dekker team did in the last 60 days. And here we go. Ours was 100.4% of asking price. And took a few more days, 96 days on average. But do you mind waiting 30 days, 29 days to get 2% more? Now, on the average house of $400,000, 2% more is $8,000 in the seller's pocket. I don't know about you, but I like $8,000 in my pocket. I'll feel pretty good.
Yeah, me too. I'd like that.
Yeah, so there's a reason to call the Dekker Team. Now, let's look at the condos in the last 60 days. 825 sales and 66 days on the market, and prices have gone up just slightly.
Right.
Yeah, average of 2 can't even read it. 286, I think it is.
283.
283, you got it there? Okay. Yeah. So let's look at May. 2016, 1,600 sales in freehold. 1,850 sales in 2017 in May. So that's a 15.6% increase. Sales went from 405 to 435. That's a 7.4% increase. And inventory, this is the interesting thing. Inventory went from 6,300 to 4,700, about a 25% decrease in inventory.
Which is so important.
Yeah.
So if you want to shake it up and you want to understand what's going on in your micro market, in your neighborhood, in your type of house, then we can do that for you. We can either email you some information, because it's not that difficult. I mean, we just need a little bit of input from you, provide you the data, and it's even if you don't want to move. If you just want to be in the know, maybe shaking it up just means being in the know now. So if you want to be in the know of what's happening in your community, and I know I hear people every day, many of my folks that I love and adore say to me, yeah, but I watch the MLS. I'm like an MLS junkie. I am on there every day. And I say, yeah, it gives you everything except the most vital piece of information.
What's that, Yada?
The sold price.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the most vital piece of information. If I don't have that, I really don't have an understanding
And whether
of
it even sold. Because they just see it disappear. They don't know whether it expired, canceled, or actually sold.
Exactly. So that's a piece of it. And the most vital piece is, what did it sell for? So if you want that, send me a quick email, info@dekkerteam.com, and either Ken or I or one of the other team members will make sure we get you that data so you can be in the know. Because that's shaking it up too.
And if you own a condo, you'll be happy to know that sales were up 50%
Woohoo!
in May over last May. Prices only up 1.9%, and inventory is down 22% from last May over May. So great news all around. And if you'd like specific information on your property, you want to call the Dekker Team, because we've got the almost 3 decades of experience of getting the most for your property and giving the best advice. So just call us 613-860-4663.
If it's time for you to shake it up.